Welcome, everybody. I'm going to drop into a more advanced teaching, a high level teaching, and it has to do with sadness. It has to do with heartbreak. It has to do with loss, especially the romantic kind, the intimate kind. Something that I've experienced most of my life is some level of heartbreak, of breakups, whether it's family or early relationships, remembering first loves, first intimate encounters. And I look around at the world today, the divorce rates. I look around and at how much older people I see that don't have a wedding ring on their finger. And none of these things are inherently bad. It's just that I know what comes with it. And I believe that as a people, especially a society of the US, Canada, there's not a lot of people that know how to grieve. There's not a lot of understanding of the important and the richness that comes with loving and losing. And part of my purpose here on planet Earth as the human that I am is to be so passionate about the human experience. It's just, I'm so passionate about the human experience and all the different flavors of life. And one of the deepest teachings that's been coming strongly to me lately is around the richness of loss. And there's that expression, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. And people that don't know how to grieve, people that don't understand the richness of loving and losing, miss out. And I've peeled back many layers of this in myself, and I see it in so many men and people around me is the hardening of a heart, the hardening, the solidifying of walls. They get stronger and denser with time, with inability to grieve and feel loss. And one of the greatest lessons that's been coming to me is how good it feels. I had this profound experience at a Joe Dispenza in-person event, and I just had so much grief come to me. I was thinking about, you know, all the things I've lost that I loved, that I deeply loved in life, that were no longer there. And I was just like bawling my eyes out, bawling my eyes out and crying and crying. And I realized it just came to me in a moment that that was a distortion. It was distorted, but it was still love. It was the misunderstanding that developed into pain. The misunderstanding of, I don't get to love this person or this thing anymore. And I realized that in that moment, that wasn't true. I could still love those things that I had lost. I could still feel love for them. There was nothing preventing me other than the thought that I couldn't still be loving those things. And the rich, very rich teaching that's been coming to me lately is, like I said, it's a high level teaching. I'm gonna try to put my best to put it into words. In the same way that if I shift my perspective about loss and realize that I still get to love those things, whether it's like one of my best friends, um, I still can love people. I still can love things that are no longer there. And in the same way, if I shift my perspective around sadness and grief and loss, and I look at it from like the lens of human experience. Let's say we just look at emotions. We've got sadness, we've got fear, we've got happiness, got anger, shame and guilt, and like, all these different versions of those emotions. And all of them are so rich. And I feel like we live in a society and in a world that's continuously trying to find joy. And then when there's not joy all the time, when there's not happiness all the time, there's all the other emotions that aren't enjoyable. And I've just been changing that story. And when I feel sadness or I feel loss, there's a part of me that's like, oh, this is so good. This is so rich. This feels amazing. And I'm going to play this song just for a moment because I feel like it's so rich. And what are you asking for? Oh my gosh. All right, well, I might have to try to play it through my phone because it ain't gonna let me. So this song, I hope it plays. It's a freaking heater. And so I'm gonna try to play it. I'm gonna share it no matter what in the comments. But I want you to intentionally think about someone that right? So this is the practice. This is the high level practice. Can you let yourself feel emotions and get outside of the story? If it's not happiness, it's bad. Can you be in sadness? Can you be in loss and let yourself actually go there to the point where it's like, wow, what a rich human experience. My favorite things that I like to say is all these human experiences, all these different emotions, all these states of being, they're like trying different flavors of ice cream. On a soul level, we're here trying all these different flavors of ice cream as a human being. This is the body we're in. We experience reality through these senses, through this form, whoever we are. All these different perfect recipes make us exactly who we are. And we experience reality in a unique way, just like the dog does, just like the bird does, just like the frog does. And we have this complex way of experience reality where we feel grief in this deep way. And it's a flavor of life. It's a flavor of ice cream and it's rich. And there's so much it's to the point I feel nourishment by it. I'm like, oh. How amazing to be human. So I'll try to play the song. We'll see if it works. Never thought I'd see the day that I wouldn't see your face. Looking back, God, I wish I had known that I'd love you, then have to let go. 'Cause you brought out the best in I'm hoping that it's playing. I'm trying to find my password. It's asking for a password. I know that you're gone, but I promise I won't forget. So thank you for all the memories. You'll never know what to me. 'Cause you were the one who gave me peace when I had none. Held me close at my loneliest. Thanks for the memories. Here's to the memory. I wish that I could call you out. Just to hear your voice, that would be enough. And we laugh like we're back at the start. And pretend when I'm falling apart. Right, well, hopefully it played. If not, hopefully you fast forwarded it through. I'm gonna put the song down in the comments. Um, it's funny it's not funny. It's interesting because we have a bunch of emotionally, I know it's not politically correct, but we have a bunch of emotionally retarded people creating AI that can't feel emotions either. And there is such a mastery to emotions. It's insane the depth that is possible to experience emotions and not have it be so mental, where we get lost in stories and we get taken off into these deep rabbit holes and we're not actually present anymore to experience the richness of that emotion, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether it's fear, whether it's grief, whether it's shame, whatever it is. If we're not present to actually experience that emotion because we're lost in the stories and whatever things that it's bringing up in the mind, we don't get to taste the ice cream. We don't get to taste that flavor of life because we're lost in whatever it's portal it's sucking us into. And there is such a richness to loving and losing. It's one of the most profound experiences that we get to have as a human being. And many of the other beings we see around on this planet experience it too. It's not just a human experience. But when you go from unity into duality consciousness, where there's separation, I'm here, the computer's here, I'm here, you're there, I have to be separate than the person in order to have the experience of loving them and then losing them. It's one of the greatest gifts that we get to have as human beings. And yet, if we don't learn how to see it as a gift, we will never get the richness of that gift. It will be our whole lives, it will go by, and we'll never get to appreciate it for truly what it is. And I know that there's varying degrees to this. I know what it's like to lose a best friend. I know what it's like to lose people that felt like the love of my life. I haven't lost my parents, thank God. And, you know, I don't know what that will be like. I don't know if I'll be at this high level of a teaching at that level of loss. I don't know what it's like to be married and have someone you've loved your whole life and they die randomly out of nowhere. I'm not saying I'm at that level, but I see the lesson that's available in this human experience. Emotions, in a way, are just like perspiration. There is an insane intelligence to this mind-body connection that knows how to how to transmute information that comes in the eyes and the ears and through the senses and transmute it and integrate it into the body as wisdom and continue forward. But we're not taught that skill, so it just gets all stuck in our bodies and our minds to be dealt with later. And then all these things start messing us up as we experience reality. If we become more evolved in the way that we feel our emotions, this whole human experience changes. And we don't have to be a stoic. Stoicism is like, it's not mastery level. There's a lot of people that are numb, that are, dissociated, that could just live like a stoic. And they're like, oh, I never feel anything and I don't have any emotions about anything. It's like, no, that's not the mastery. The mastery is feeling emotions as they arise and move through. It doesn't mean making them up all the time through the mind and like coming up with these crazy ideas that our minds do that have us feeling stuck, stuck in these emotions. It's like there's an actual skill that is a wave of emotion moves through me, sadness, fear, anger, whatever it is, but I'm still there. I'm still there, witnessing it, there with it, watching. Whoa, oh, wow. Deep sadness. Oh, I'm with it. Listen to that song. If it wasn't on here, down in the comments, think about someone you've lost. The words won't be spot on. They'll be more spot on if it's someone you lost that you loved intimately. The lyrics are about thanks for the memories. We cannot get better at something that we don't practice. And honestly, I don't know that there's much more I don't know if there's anything more important than practicing feeling emotions because why does anyone do anything to feel a certain way? Why do people get rich to feel a certain way? Why do people get married to feel a certain way? Why do people have babies to feel a certain way? Why do people chase their dreams to feel a certain way? I dream of a world that knows how to feel better and not feel better, but how to feel, and they're better at it. They're more advanced at it. Especially with the coming up of AI, it's like this is what humans need to harness more than everything. We let the robots do all the analytical crap, and we get back to like living a spiritual life and knowing how to be with emotions in a masterful way and be with the richness of life. All right, I'm listening to this song and drink on the richness of loss. So grateful for this human experience. What a gift. What a gift from God. The anger, the sadness, the fear, the jealousy, the self-doubt, the guilt, the mistrust, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the loneliness, the love, the collaboration, the connection. It's all such a gift.